Welcome to the Green Bay Area Public School District's Our GBAPS Story. I'm Vicki Bayer, and I have the honor of serving as the District Superintendent of Schools and Learning. I'm excited about today's podcast, which will include a chat with the Board President, James Lyerly, regarding property tax bills and the superintendent search, a conversation with Southwest student Lauren VanGheem about Youth Apprenticeship, and then Associate Superintendent David Johns will provide an update on our school report cards and the district's work to improve student achievement. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the Board President, James Lyerly. James, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. I would like to take a moment. I know this might not be what you want to talk about right now, but I know. I do want to acknowledge that at the end of this year, you're going to retire.
Oh.
So I might not have this opportunity again.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I know it's coming.
We can edit.
But you're not. I just have to say some things out loud, right? My second or third day on the Board of Education was when Superintendent Murley resigned. And I remember the anxiety in that moment. And I also remember you stepping up and saying a couple things that really resonated with me. And that is, this district should not go out and find a steward. We have way too much to do, right? And we need to keep our momentum. So you kind of, in my mind, became that reluctant leader. And then the next year, you became a serial reluctant leader, right? And I coined that, so if you use that, you have to pay me a royalty.
I thought so.
Your brand of leadership is not driven by ego or ambition, right? You didn't go and apply for these roles. And I have observed over the last couple of years that is really true, right? Your brand of leadership is driven by doing what's best for the district, for our kids, making sure that you fulfill commitments to the community and the people around you. And there are levels of praise that I give people. I have to tell you that my personal interactions with you and what I see, you deserve everything good about retirement. I mean, this is a big job in the best of times, and circumstances delivered to you 2 or 3 really hard years. When you talk about what we've done and what you've been able to accomplish, and we don't have time to go into all of that, but a couple of referendums that passed with extraordinary numbers, that very, very difficult and emotional consolidation that we had to go through, another superintendent that you onboarded and then had to step up again. So I applaud you for everything that you've done for this district, and I hope that retirement is everything that you really forward to it being.
That was really sweet. Thank you so much. And that does it for today. Okay.
Now you have to continue.
Yeah, James, thank you so much. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about the replacement and what's that search looking like.
Well, let's do. So we're working with CISA 7, and they're helping guide the superintendent candidate search in a different way than we did in the past, right? But we have a position that is out there. It was published on December 8th, and so we are actively looking for candidates out there. So, and that'll stay open until probably mid-January. In the late February and March timeframe, there'll be opportunities for the community, staff, and other stakeholders to, get to see the candidates and to provide some structured feedback on them and help us select our new superintendent. I think everything's going really well right now.
Yeah. I feel really good about the process that's been happening so far and have full faith in the board and their decision making. So I'm looking forward to this.
I have to do a shout out to CISA 7. They have performed and met and exceeded expectations through every interaction so far.
That's great to hear.
I do want to take the opportunity to thank the over 2,000 community members, staff members, students even, that responded to our survey. And I think that's going to really help us identify those attributes in a leader that we're looking for. And so
Now, to switch topics a little bit, property owners are receiving their tax bills now.
Yes, they are.
What's going to be new on those?
Well, back in, I think it was November of 2020, or in 2023, I can't recall exactly the month, the Board of Education voted and adopted a resolution that encouraged the municipalities within the school district to add information to the tax bill that communicated the amount that our local taxpayers were paying that ended up at voucher schools. Now, that was really based on the fact that this voucher program has been growing, and the cost had gotten to a point where, it was the responsible thing to do to inform our taxpayers of what the burden was. And so in 22 and in 24, we went to our tax payers and asked them to pass a referendum. And part of our explanation, part of the plan was we managed those referendum so that it would not increase the mill rate.
Right.
But ultimately, taxes went up.
Right.
And it wasn't due to our misplanning around the referendum. A large part of it was because the voucher program was increasing and the burden was increasing, but it was reflected as an increase of the Green Bay Area Public School levy.
Right.
We asked the Green Bay Common Council to add this amount, so the voucher amount, to the tax bill. And through the efforts and the support of community members that were really engaged, even state representatives and some Common Council alders themselves really helped us in advocating for this change.
Great.
So I'd really like to make sure that they understand that we really thank them for their efforts.
What kind of feedback are you getting?
Most people are pretty surprised at the amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've kind of tried to keep abreast of what's being said out in social platforms. And I think there is a positive reaction that we took this step and that they appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great. This is for the city of Green Bay.
Correct.
What if I live outside of the city, but I'm in the district?
So I'll start with, we're going to turn our attention to see whether or not we can get the same information on your tax bill, because personally, I think the tax bill is the way to communicate. It's what we use to communicate your tax burden. But if you don't live in Green Bay, you can come out to the Green Bay Area Public School District's website. You can go to Board of Education, and there you'll find a link that I think is called How to Read Your Tax Bill or something like that. And it gives all of the different municipalities' tax burden that's associated with the voucher program. And I actually think it communicates personally that every taxpayer is paying $91 per $100,000 of equalized value of their home towards the voucher program.
Okay.
So that's a great resource.
Yeah. It's just amazing to me at a time when public school districts are already struggling financially, especially after this last budget that came through and the decrease in special education funding when we anticipated or were told 42%, it's most likely going to be closer to 35. Just baffling to me that we would continue to pay this much to private schools.
It's really hard. It's really hard to be in those conversations and see increase per student spending in the voucher program. So a lot of the increase in tax burden is not because we have a substantially larger amount of students that are taking vouchers. It's just each voucher is more.
Yeah,
so
that's a great point. Well, I appreciate you joining us today. It's been wonderful hearing from you. And again, this is Board President James Lyerly. Thanks, James.
Thank you for the opportunity. Come talk to you.
Thank you. Folks, you are about to have your mind blown by meeting one of our amazing seniors from Southwest High School. This is the Lauren VanGheem. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. You drove through treacherous weather. I don't know why the superintendent didn't call school today, but we're so glad you made it. We want to learn all about you. So tell us about Lauren.
Well, I go to Southwest High School, and I'm a Youth Apprentice at Herkman Mechanical, and I work at TJ Maxx and Festival on the weekends.
Oh my God.
And I love learning new things, and I love being hands-on with my work, and I love hanging out with my family.
We want to hear a lot more about some of this that you just mentioned. First of all, you're working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And going to school and graduating soon.
Yes.
Okay, that's a lot for a young person.
Yeah.
Tell
Really
us.
fun.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Wait till you're old like us. No, I love that you have that kind of energy and enthusiasm, especially about the youth apprenticeship part of the job. I want to talk about Southwest first.
Yes.
Tell us about Southwest.
Southwest, I think that there's a lot of opportunities there. There's always new things that you can always do, like the youth apprenticeship program. You can join clubs. You can take any class you basically want there. And the environment is really fun and super encouraging, I would say, by the teachers. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Youth apprenticeship is actually offered district-wide. How did you learn about it, Lauren?
So my mom, she works in the district, and I have 3 other siblings that are older than me, and my brother, he did a youth apprenticeship at Bellin, Titletown.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a PT or something around that. And then my brother did an accounting apprenticeship or youth apprenticeship at Festival Foods. And then my sister, she did a CNA class with HSHS.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a youth apprenticeship. And then I was just like, hey, why not earn credits while I go to school and go to work and free credit?
Yeah. Well, so tell us about that experience, the youth apprenticeship.
So basically, I go to class 1 hour a day, and then I go straight to work after. I do all my work, and then I'm free for the rest of the day after 2:30. It's really fun.
Yeah. You're working for, where are you doing the youth
Herkman
apprentice?
Mechanical.
Herkman Mechanical. What is your job there? What do you do?
I am like a steam fitter, I guess you would say, or a pipe fitter.
Okay.
So I do all like the pre-pipe work, like cleaning up the pipe and getting it all ready so it can be tacked and welded and then sent out the door. And then sometimes I paint. A lot of the time I paint. And I also clean up stainless, which is like passivating all the welds so they don't have like that color on it anymore. And it gets all shiny clean.
And you love this.
I love it.
And you would never have known about it if you hadn't had this
No, probably
experience.
not. I was really set on another job, doing something completely different. I actually wanted to be a teacher for like the longest time.
Still an admirable field to consider.
And then I found out about Herkman Mechanical when I went to the job fair, and then I was set on that.
Yeah.
After Miss Benz told me about the steam fitting position, and I just loved it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was set on that.
There might be people watching this right now that never knew that young people had these opportunities while they were in high school.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating. You talked a little bit about now what the next couple of years could look like for you because of this. What?
So after my youth apprenticeship ends, I'll become a pre-apprentice and then I'll go to the union through like night school and stuff. And then after pre-apprentice, they'll hire me on as an apprentice for 5 years, and then I'll graduate and become a journeyman and go wherever they send me, to job sites in Minnesota or in town, anywhere they'll send me.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What would you say to other students that, Preble East, West, and even your peers at Southwest about the Youth Apprenticeship Program?
I think that they just need to get out there and give it a shot.
Yeah.
Like my friend, I told her to join the apprenticeship program, and she loves it too, and she just keeps working away.
Yeah.
I think that they just should go for it because there's nothing to lose if you join your youth apprenticeship.
Yeah.
There's always a credit that can be given to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're a good advocate for it.
Yeah.
Lauren, I asked you, you have one class at school right now, and you told me the title of it. What is it again?
Creative Works.
Creative Works.
Yes.
And then you told me a little bit about the project you're working on right now.
Yeah.
Can you share with them what
So
that
we're
is?
writing a book for the Head Start school, and my book is about the pink legacy lion who wins a dodgeball tournament because the kid that I chose, she filled out this survey, and that we just base everything off of everything that she likes and dislikes into the book, and we have 40 pages of writing to do about anything we want.
That's amazing. How far are you?
21 pages in.
Okay.
But we do have pictures done already, so
Oh, wow.
We're basically done.
That'll take up space.
That's
what you're
right.
saying. Yeah. Yeah. What's next for you over the next couple of months? What does that look like?
Working away,
Okay.
getting some money, graduating high school, and then becoming my apprentice, pre-apprentice.
All right. Anything else you want to share with us, Lauren?
Oh, I think that everyone should just go for the youth apprenticeship. There's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I just think that everyone should give it a chance. Even if you have a job, they can always find something that your job is based around and put you in classes around that, and just go for it.
Yeah. I'm guessing that any student out there that's watching, they would probably just contact their school counselor.
Yes, you can contact your counselor or the youth apprenticeship teacher, I would say, at your school.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. Wow. It was a pleasure meeting you,
Well,
Lauren.
thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you.
So glad to have you here.
Thank you.
We'll see you at graduation.
See you at graduation.
All right, our next guest is somebody that's been with us before. We're welcoming back David Johns, the Associate Superintendent. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
Are you really?
I am. I love this.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk report cards
Yeah.
because they came out in November.
Sure.
What do they look like?
Sure. The district and school report cards come to us kind of toward the beginning of the school year, and they are a reflection of what happened in the prior school year. The district is obviously a collection of schools, and so each school gets their own report card, and then all of that information is consolidated into a district report card. Based on a scoring formula that's used, it's pretty complicated. Schools and districts earn a variety of stars, which designates where you are, and we continue as a district to be meeting expectations based on that star rating. But what's behind that star rating is the story of achievement, growth, what we call target group outcomes, and on track to graduation data. Achievement and growth are pretty self-explanatory. It's the scores that the students get in reading and math assessments, and the rate at which they're growing based one year over the other provides the growth score.
And is that the forward exam?
Forward exam for our youngest students, and then ACT for our oldest high school students. So a variety of different exams kind of along the way, and then all of those numbers are calibrated and get represented in the report card. The other two components that make up the score target group is where the data is pulled from our students who honestly are struggling the most as learners. And so every district would have a percentage of students that you look to see how are our efforts reaching the students who have the greatest needs in school. And I would say that a bright spot coming out of our report card for this year is that we are seeing accelerated progress among our target group. And so the work that I lead is always really around identifying where there are gaps and working to close the gaps as rapidly as possible. So that's one place you can look. And again, this tells the story of last year. We have to use some other tools to see what's happening for this year, and maybe we can talk about those in a bit. On track to graduation are the other factors that include things like attendance and graduation rates. And in both of those cases, we continue a steady increase in both of those really important things. You're not going to get the achievement you're looking for if kids aren't showing up at school. So pretty promising developments. We continue to kind of march up on a score basis with the report cards. And of course, there's a lot of day-to-day work from thousands of members of our staff who are so involved in making that happen.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of questions that we get are around students' academic success and what are we doing to help them improve. You took this initiative, Unbound Ed, and brought it to our district. Can you talk a little bit about what that is? Because that's focused on improving academic outcomes for our kids.
Yeah, it really is. Unbound Ed is an organization that's been around for about a decade, and I've had opportunities to work with them in other settings, and I've always appreciated their focus on the importance of teachers understanding their students and having high expectations for them, but also being prepared to provide a really high-level support. It's not fair to our kids to say, we know you can do better, here's a challenge for you, and not be able to support them to be successful.
Yeah, right.
That's where things like despair and separation kick in, and our kids just stop coming to school, or they find other ways to not participate. And so Unbound Ed is a great partner that helps us see the value in creating high expectations through grade level work. It's nothing more complicated than that. It's not accelerated work. It is not advanced work. It's just recognizing that for all students, the expectation should be grade level.
Yeah.
And in an era where across the 50 states, there is finally some agreement on what grade level expectations should look like, so that you shouldn't have a different expectation in one state than another, we can rally around that. And so Unbound Ed as a partner helps leaders and helps teachers really understand what's behind the standards to create lessons for kids that hold them to that expectation.
Yeah.
But it's the other side of it that Unbound Ed is just as important, and that is giving us the ways to think about our students who walk in the door every day and the great assets and gifts that they bring to our classroom. So when we think about things like affirming and meaningful lessons, you simply can't have a lesson that is affirming to your students if you don't know your students very well.
Yeah, right.
So whether you're a high school teacher that maybe has 140 students on their roster, or an elementary teacher with 22 students in your classroom, the challenge is to really get to know your kids, get to know them well, and then use that as the building blocks for those grade level lessons. It's amazing to watch when it happens, and we've been able to work with hundreds of teachers and teacher leaders in the district around a process to think a little bit differently about lesson planning and take all of those things into consideration. And observations out in buildings is validating that some really powerful things are happening in our classrooms.
Yeah, I've heard from some of the teachers already, and they're very excited about this, and this has a lot of momentum behind it.
Yeah, and it's a different way to approach what is real to us, and that is we need to elevate the success of our students academically. Countless partners could throw all kinds of things at you and say, you know, here's the kit to do it, here's the template to do it. Unbound Ed recognizes that it's way more complex than that, and they're right by our side as we do that.
Complex, but simple in that it's about relationships. And
Yeah. Sometimes those quick fix solutions actually overcomplicate something that doesn't need to be so hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears. Act 20, we've been just a little bit over a year of implementation. How's that looking?
Yeah, Act 20, the state's literacy initiative, widespread and present in every public district with accountability for public schools around literacy achievement, kindergarten through third grade, actually 4K through third grade. We are actually just approaching, after the winter break, our second screening window. And what that means is 3 times a year we administer a fairly brief assessment to students that is, again, based on grade level expectations. And we learn where each student is relative to the grade level expectations. So we have a fall measure for all of our students through third grade, and then we'll do another one in the winter and then another one in the spring. And so I'm really looking forward to the January assessment window to really give us our first glimpse at how many students have we moved toward grade level expectations. We don't leave it to just those 3 measurements. We have a lot of internal measurements and a lot of tools that our students are using day by day. Our students use an AI-powered program called Lexia, where every day they get a literacy lesson that is just right for where they are as learners. It's highly customized, very personalized for them. And one of the things we can look at, we can stop time and look right into any grade level and see how many students are working in what would be called grade level materials. Now, this doesn't mean they are mastering grade level skills, but it means they are reading at that level and being able to engage with the text at that level. I'm always interested in our kindergartners and where they are. Did a look in on them today. 92% of our kindergartners are in grade level materials right now. Last year, we had 94% at the end of the year.
Okay.
And we're only 4 months into school, and 92% of our kindergartners are in grade level materials. And so those are the signals that we look at shorter term, because you can't really demonstrate grade level expectations if you're not doing it with grade level reading passages. And
Right.
that's what we find.
Wow, it sounds like we're on the right track.
We absolutely are.
Yeah. Thank you for your work on this, David.